Andrew, I suppose what's the instant emotion now that the season's done?
Well, that was a roller coaster, that game. It's frustrating that it's over in a way because I want to keep getting better. But been a hell of a long year, challenging year. You won't endure many more difficult seasons than what we've just had. And I said this to one of our coaches this morning. I'm inspired by our group in a lot of ways because they've turned up to work every day in the circumstances and just had good energy, been trying to improve every day. They haven't been in the dumps. They haven't given up. It's a good sign. It's a good sign they're wanting to get better. And look, clearly a really, really flattening way to finish. And it's quite interesting. I said to the group just then, the feeling we have right now is really low, but the feeling at halftime we had was significantly different. And there's clearly some signs with our group that we can compete against really good teams, just not for long enough at the moment.
With all due respect, there's also a sense that it can't get any worse than this?
Yeah.
The only way now is up, and then there's that optimism.
Certainly hope so. Certainly hope so. And look, sorry to interrupt. I think you're right. There is optimism within this, and I'm certain we've gotten better this year. I really believe that. I know the win-loss record doesn't tell us that, but we've got evidence now to show what we do and the way we're trying to play, and these guys can really stack up against the best. Now it's about getting to work to be able to do it for 120 minutes for 24 games plus finals.
I guess part of it about not being able to do it for 120 minutes tonight, did you think it was fitness? Do you think it was mental application? What do you think you went away from it?
I think I'm really not wanting to say this, but we're young. We're incredibly young. This game challenges you in every single way. And I think the guys had a real crack in the first half, a real crack. And for whatever reason, they weren't able to have the same crack in the second half. So there is some intent, there's some natural progression within that. And we have to keep finding ways to compete for longer.
When you say you didn't want to say that, it sounds like, and I know you haven't wanted to use the youth and the injuries as an excuse, but is there a part of you, it felt like last week when you were talking about the injuries after the game and then just then, is there a part of you that's allowing yourself a little bit of, we've had a bit of a rotten run with some injuries to our senior players and we've just had to be young, and that's a major reason as to why we've only won one game?
Not that it's a major reason why we've won one game, but it's challenging to play AFL football with a young team. It's just what it is. So every team needs their senior players playing their best footy. That's what AFL football's about. So we unfortunately haven't had that for a lot of this year, which has then forced the load onto players who maybe aren't ready for it. But I've got no doubt we'll reap great reward from that over time. We exposed 10 new players to AFL football this year, and they've had a look at it. They understand what the speed of the game, what's required, and they'll go away now into off-season and understand what's required to be able to be really good at this game. So that's a good thing for us, and in the future it will bode well for us.
Luca was one of the ones that had a crack, and particularly in that first quarter. What do you think? He doesn't shy away, does he?
Yeah, no, he's a really good competitor, Luca, and he's got some real calmness with the ball. I thought he didn't look out of place at all tonight. Had some really nice moments, so it was good.
You haven't played him all season, you've left it to the end of the season. Did you see a bit tonight that maybe thought you could have had a crack a bit earlier?
Potentially. I've said to Luca all year, the whole time, I've thought he's going to be a long-term player at this football club. Over my whole career, I've seen players play a lot of twos football before they start their senior career, and you could even say Job was in the same case in some scenario. But we wanted to make sure that when we pick players in the AFL team, they were ready. And Luca, may have been ready earlier, but he got his chance tonight, and he showed that he's capable of being a really good AFL footballer.
Having 10 debutants for the year, what sort of, return do you expect from that? A lot probably got games quicker than, as you were saying, they expected. What sort of return do you hope that will give?
Yeah, I think it just gives them a glance into what's required of the game. I think, just to be clear, not all 10 didn't deserve. They all deserved a game. Circumstance may have given them more games, but They were ready. They showed they were able to compete, and I think they just get a little bit of exposure. They understand what the game's about, and it's that taste now. Hopefully they're driven to want to become long-term players.
And Jimby, what exactly was injury, and I guess what was your initial emotion when you saw that happen?
Oh, my heart was in my mouth. Hell of a contest by Ruse, and we really missed him. I thought he was influential the first quarter and a half when he was out there, as he always is, Rubes. But we're really hopeful that it's okay. It's just a bad knock to the knee, is what we're thinking. He tried to get up and go and went back out on the field again, but just wasn't quite able to change direction as required. So we made the call to sub him out at that stage. But all signs are pointing that it'll be okay.
Andrew's saying, you feel like they're getting better, but you've now become the first team with a 22-loss season. You've won less quarters this year than last year. What is it about this team that's making you say they are getting better? What have you seen?
Yeah, I think when we've played our best, it's matched it against the best teams in the competition. The teams in the top four, we've been in the game to three-quarter time. It's a little bit about what I spoke for. We just have quarters where the scoreboard blows out on us. I think if you look closely at our games this year and even tonight, that's been the case for us. So we've got to bridge the gap between our floor and our ceiling. I think our ceiling's been pretty reasonable this year, and we've challenged some good teams. But unfortunately, the gap when we've played poorly, we just get too much score put on against us.
Is it more like losing's a habit for you and players? I mean, you put yourselves in positions where you look good, and it falls away at times where you probably should be pushing on. They just don't have that ability to get to that next level.
Yeah, I think that's part of what you're talking about. And I've spoken about that. We need to build into our whole program ways to compete and win and learn how to win. And it might be anything. It might be table tennis. It might be handball games at training. But we've got to learn to win. I think it's real within our football club. So we'll build it in. We'll really make our players really competitive people.
What do you do in a pre-season coming up to accomplish that, and with a young group as well? Like you can run them into the ground, I suppose, and make them fit as anything. But how do you change that winning culture and bridge that gap in 6 months?
Yeah, so we, like everyone in the competition is going to be trying to get fitter, faster, stronger. That's what happens. So we need to get all our habits under control at a really elite level, with their diet, training, recovery. We've got to become the best professional athletes we can be. It'll be education on game plan. It'll be fundamentals and competition. That's what we're going to go after. We're going to everything we put through our pre-season. It's going to be about competing, and we'll find out the players that really want to win.
How quick do you want an answer from Oscar Allen about where his future lies now that the season's done?
Yeah, all these things will just happen in time. I understand that there's a big story about it, but we've just endured a pretty difficult football season, and it was a pretty sombre room in there at the end. And I sort of just spoke to the group, and it was a really sad feeling. But sort of, as I said, I referenced it back to that halftime feeling, and try to build the belief that there's something building, and it will take some time, but we're going to work really hard to get there.
And we know senior coaching is stressful at the best of times. For you, in terms of your break, what are you getting up to kind of de-stress?
I'm going to try have a sleep. A bit of sleep to catch it. No, look, we're going to have to deep dive review everything we do. Every part of our program we're going to do a deep dive into to try and learn what worked this year, what didn't, how we're going to improve it. I'm going to spend some time with my family, have some break, and then get to work really quickly and how to get better and improve myself so I can help improve our team and club.
Is it good the season's done now and that growth can be structured and planned rather than Saturday to Saturday against opposition? That you can now spend that 16 months and know exactly week for week what your players are doing?
I'm a little bit. I'd just love to keep playing footy, to be honest. Like, I love the game. I love playing, but this is what happens. So we have a long period now that we play against another team, and we need to really get this next period right. We need to nail every part of it, from our training, from our education, from our preparation, and we'll make sure we'll deep dive into everything, and figure out ways to get this club moving forward.
Cool.